New year, new me. Wait, what am I playing? Where am I? Black Desert Online. I swore I would never play this game again, or did I? Honestly, every single year some big events pop up in the game, which makes me check back in, or they release some new class that just simply looks cool. Or both at the same time. For anybody that's not familiar with BDO, it's a Korean grind MMORPG with some of the most brutal gear upgrading systems ever. Or well, it used to be. The game has now been around for nearly 10 years, and slowly over time they have been adjusting systems to maybe not exactly make the upgrading anything easier, but to give people a light at the end of some tunnels. The devs seem to have focused on speeding people into the mid-game for quite a while now, and I would say that achieving it has become quite quick and easy nowadays. Essentially, just get a seasonal character to level 60, which even starting on a fresh account shouldn't really take you more than a couple of days, and there you are. Of course, then those very same players ran into the issue of not quite knowing where to go from there, so they've been adding more and more one-time guaranteed upgrade paths for people to get themselves dug into the grind of that mid-game. But guaranteed upgrades aren't the real BDO experience, so to say, so inevitably as new players would get through all of those easy gains and end up into the not so easy gains, they would fall back into pure confusion. Well, seems the devs somewhere down the line realized that maybe they do need to tune the extreme RNG a little bit more, so they did. Or well, maybe, just maybe, due to them wanting to release in the Chinese market, they ended up having to add a pity system to all of the upgrading, as gambling there is illegal and gambling with a guarantee, so the pity system is not, which means that you can now only fail so many times, which honestly is a really positive change. You just have to assume you're going to have to bash your head into a wall, the amount of maximum fails till pity, and then you'll never be disappointed. Worst case, you get it when you expected it. Best case, you get it a little bit earlier. Just don't start giving yourself false hope now. During the recent in-person BDO event, they actually did say something quite interesting to me. Apparently, they want people to feel like they have to spend less time grinding, and make people focus on the rest of the game more instead. Essentially, the Korean grind MMORPG wants to be less of a Korean grind MMORPG. Black Desert has always given me the impression that it does have a very sizable world, with a wealth of content that the majority of players does not interact with whatsoever. I am guilty of this as well. The question really becomes, what kind of carrot do you need to dangle in front of people's faces to make them want to go and interact with it? I don't think there's too much that you can do to shift people's attention away from the main grind. Part of that is because those kinds of players are the only ones that are still around, a bit of survivor bias if you will, but also due to the majority of content creators for BDO being extremely hardcore. Streamers especially make it seem like it's normal to do a weekly 100 billion silver enhancement session now, while in reality that kind of thing is out of reach for the majority of the regular player base. And that kind of thing is always going to be the case. As much as PA has been introducing systems to reward weekly participation on certain activities, which means there's a sense of doing the maximum possible you could do that week, you're still going to be behind the person that does that weekly thing, plus grind an extra 16 hours every single day. Can they make life skilling interesting enough, or will there be other side activities that are worth spending the majority of your time into? Unless those activities feed into the main number go up in a meaningful way, I think it would be rather difficult for people to shift their attention away from their current grinds. And something tells me that the moment a side activity ends up making more progress than the regular monster grind, that people are also going to be very sour about it. Whatever way they go, I think they should stick with it for a little while and see how things unfold, if you will. If I was a new player to BDO right now, and despite having plenty of hours played from back in the day, I'm a pretty mid-game player, and some people would consider my account to be pretty low level, I think the best thing to do is to take it at a chill pace. Get to a point where you can go and play the content you want to, and see if special treasure items look interesting, and go and grind a little bit for that. Just chill and play a little bit here and there. If your definition of fun is only limited to number go up, then I can see how all of that stuff doesn't really matter, of course. Even then, though, I think it's important to stay realistic with your goals. Personally, I've been doing like 1 hour grinds a day at most, maybe sometimes 2. And yes, that does mean that I might only make, let's say, 10 billion progress a week. It probably means I might not even get an upgrade this week, but I got to enjoy the time I played, and maybe more importantly, the time that I got to play some other game as well. Maybe I've grown to playing MMORPGs wrong now, as I established sometime last year during an OSRS video. It is clear that despite always having hardcore intentions inside of me, I do tend to enjoy the little random things in MMOs more and more. Grinding the same monsters for weeks on end just isn't as exciting to me anymore as it once was, and I think the majority of the player base just ends up having a very toxic relationship with progress and grinding after a while, rather than still truly enjoying the journey. It partially comes forward from the drive to compare yourself with everyone else around you, which in an MMO seems like it makes sense, but with how solo progression focused BDO is, I don't think it makes that much sense at all anymore. Now, the real thing that I'm looking forward to in BDO: snowboarding. Because apparently that's coming to the game, and it sure as shit is going to be random as heck. But that is the real content I'm looking forward to. Actually, I'll go ahead and see what kind of non-combat grind gameplay things there are to do in BDO nowadays, and I'll report back to you about that in the near future. You know, you could know when that video releases by subscribing to the channel and liking the video so that you may catch my next video right here. Or something. See you later. Bye.